Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer. And guess what? Guess what? I got a review for you. From Opus Comics, this is Eternal #1. It is written by my guy, Michael Moreci. Art by Mario Lorenzano. Colors by Oscar Carreño. And then letters by Jacob Bascle. This book was phenomenal. The art, the story, the colors, everything was A class. Of course, I'm a big fan of Michael Moreci. I've loved everything that I've read from him. He is the fantastic author of the major hit book Barbaric. He has recently kind of gone into some other things. He actually did an issue for Death Dealer, which was so dope. He got to do the first appearance of the Sorcerer, and now we got Eternal Descent. All I knew was music had a point to this book. You can tell kind of by the cover. She's got the guitar. While I read this book, I listened to a song by the artist Volkor, V-O-R-K-O-R-X Enclave. That's V-O-L-K-O-R-X Enclave. If you want to listen to the same thing I did when I read this, and it was a fantastic read with that music. It actually played the whole time. It was a good song. So let's get into the review. It kind of starts on some things that you do know or might know, but a little different. So we got Thor and Loki. This being Loki and this being Thor. It is based off the Norse mythology, not the Marvel Thor and Loki. But basically we are catching toes with both of them, and they are in the heat of battle. Loki trying to kill his stepbrother Thor. In this version, Loki has Mjolnir's hammer, and Thor is wielding some kind of sword. I'm not familiar with the sword. He does say it's called like Melclave, or no, Timbre. Timbre is what the sword's called. I'm not familiar with the sword. And on another note, he might not have been naming the sword. He might have been naming something else, because he does mention that Thor is protecting these golden strings, hence probably the guitar, right? Okay, so basically at the end of this, Loki does defeat Thor, and it is said during this part of the tale that Thor cannot die. Neither one of them. They go into a slumber and resurrect. So he is killed, or we assume to. We see like a big whap, and it kind of looked like he was already on the way out anyways. Loki was kind of overpowering. And then we get to our main character, Miss Lyra Constance, I think is her name. But we are catching up with mega superstar Lyra Constance, and she is being interviewed, and the interviewer is asking her, basically telling her that she's this world famous musician. Her music is everywhere. What are her plans? And Lyra gives a awesome answer. And as far as the interview going, it doesn't go so well, because as she's giving the answer, you can see the reporter is her face is changing, and it slowly starts changing into like a demon looking form, and basically saying that Lyra needs to face the truth. And then boom, we really meet Lyra Constance. She is not a world famous musician. She was dreaming. She is a musician, but at this point she is not. She is a college student, but she is in the hopes of being a famous musician, not for all the fame and wealth, but just to get her music out there, kind of thing. One thing I can note is there's all these badass like nods to like great rock and roll and other just music status, because there's one that looks like Kanye. There's some Led Zeppelin album covers. Let's see, we got Metallica. Instead of Panthera, it's Pantera. It's Cantera, Panthera. I know I'm saying that wrong, but there's some Jimmy, some other people in the background. So this girl is definitely a music fan. But I think it's her roommate, Allison. She walks in and tells her, "Hey, you missed class. What you got going on," kind of thing. And basically, she tells her that her professor, Professor Baxter, actually sent home because she had missed class or something like that. But she had sent her home a book that she had wanted, and we see here it is a book covered in like Norse, writing or whatever. And she opens it up, and you see some more Norse writing. And come to find out, she is on this journey. Her dad has disappeared. He was a music person as well, and they are searching for this blue door. Supposedly this blue door is like one of those things that you've probably heard from other stories, like the Pick of Destiny or something like that. But supposedly it's how all these like mega famous artists over the years have become famous because they have encountered this blue door, supposedly. Supposedly everybody that's played at the venue where the blue door is has all become mega famous, and that's the hope that Lyra Constance is as she's searching for this blue door. So the book that she was given with all the Norse relics or whatever is supposed to be kind of like a clue or something like that to lead her to the blue door. We do see Lyra the next day, and she's on a bus, and she's basically following where the book is leading her, and we find out that she actually goes back to where she was, I guess, raised or born. It doesn't really tell us where or anything. It's just a separate city than where the book starts. But evidently Lyra has not been in this city for a long time. She ends up going to a bar that has a live music venue, and when she gets there, she is greeted by another main character named Albert. Albert has some ties with her in the past. He mentions that she was not supposed to come back here, and she was like, well, I thought you meant like you were playing when you said never come back here kind of thing. But she basically pulls out the book and says she's looking for the blue door, and as soon as she does, he's like, hey, put that away, you don't know who's watching or who's around here, but basically stay right here and we'll talk about this after I close down. Finding out that he's kind of the owner of the establishment or whatever. In the scene when he says that, you do see this character over here with the demon looking eyes and stuff. He was alerted as soon as she puts the book down at the table. But basically he goes off and does his nightly duties at the bar, and she does not pay attention to what he says because she was supposed to stay there, and she's outside like trying to call her friend Allison. And with her being outside, you do see some stuff in the background, like some eyes and stuff like that. Albert quickly comes outside, tells her, what the hell, man, I told you to stay inside, makes her go back inside, and as soon as she does, we see that something was outside trying to get her, like maybe some demons or something like that. And he kind of mentions that she doesn't understand the darkness that lingers around the place that she's at. Nightclub, bar, what have you. But basically she goes inside. Albert does not show up for a little while, which kind of led me to believe that he dealt with the demons outside, or he made them go away, something to that matter. And she kind of brings that up too, like, hey, why'd you take so long? Thought you had like a hot date or something, and he was like, yeah, a hot date or something, But basically he finally able to talk. They kind of go over the book, and he's like, look, all I can tell you is you got to go to this Crawford's Meadow, past the tree canopy, over the creek to where the stones grow tall. And that's basically all he tells her. And she, with those clues, she does make it to this canopy with the trees, and she does find these tall rocks that kind of look like Stonehenge or whatever. When she gets there, she does notice some familiar ruins that are on these stones that are in the circle, and she does start noticing that the ruins are all in forms of music notes. The book is supposed to be, and the blue door is supposed to be like a rumor, but it's supposed to be maybe like the birth of music, like as far as like written text goes or something like that, and the blue door might be like where it all started kind of thing. But Lyra quickly starts to try and figure out this little riddle that she's got in front of her, and sure enough she does. She starts noticing that there is a certain stone that has a root note on it, and then after that she just figures out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and basically starts doing music. She doesn't understand what she's supposed to be doing, but as soon as she moves to the middle, the ground gives away and opens up a brand new thing that was hidden. It's got a big staircase, there is some blue light, and there's something all the way at the bottom covered in stone. At first she kind of like, man, I gotta get out of here. This is some Lords of the Rings stuff, and while she's down here, she does mess with the stone thing. It kind of, as soon as she starts messing with it, the stone starts actually wiggling, and come to find out, under the stone it's a, like, you know, magical legendary guitar or something like that. I'm guessing this would be the strings that Thor was hiding, because as soon as she pulls the guitar, right behind her appears Thor. Thor explaining that, you know, why did she pull it from where he had hit it, and supposedly, you know, he hit it a long time ago. But he explains that now that she has pulled the guitar, that things that were supposed to be, you know, like hidden and safe now are open and in the world. And guess what? Loki shows up as soon as that, and we get to see Loki kill Thor in front of her. And basically Loki going after her, and that's basically where the book cuts off. I mean, we see Loki with his hammer all charged up, and Lyra, you know, holding the guitar for dear life. But that's basically it. We do see a preview on the cover of the next issue, which is this incredible cover. I gotta get that one. But in the very back, we do see some of the different album cover, like the cover gallery, which I only got to see this one cover. I did not see any of the other variants, but if I had, I would have picked up this one right here. There's which, if I found out, you know, if I find out in the wild, I'll definitely pick up. There is some other things to mention. There's a Monsters of Metal one-shot book that's coming out from Opus, and it features, like, each one features a different monster. Like, I think up here is Medusa. Let's see who else we got. We got like some jack-o'-lantern guy, some werewolf, a zombie, and I want to say it looks like the Bride of Frankenstein, but I'm not sure. So be on the lookout for that. You know, great, cool-looking Halloween read. And then if you are not reading Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, which I have been and not been reviewing it, but Death Dealer has been a great series all the way through, especially the issue that Michael Moreci wrote, the newest issue, the first appearance of the Sorcerer, another ally that's going to join the Death Dealer group. There is some, like a full page of the color gallery and some other, you know, options that Opus offers. Actually, little by little, I am loving Opus Comics. They have Bill and Ted Roll the Dice, Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, and now Eternal to Zent. Every book that I picked up has been excellent from Opus Comics. So they are slowly picking up a huge fan here. But this issue was phenomenal. The art, the colors, the letters, everything popped in this book for me. Let me know down below what you thought of the first issue. If you read it, if you passed it up, you know, what did you think about this review? If you passed it up, let me know down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. This fuels this guy right here. Let me know if there's any reviews that you'd like to see that I haven't covered yet. I know I'm only covering 1, 2, or 3 a week, but it's really due to just me having film time. But hey, that's my review. I'll let y'all go. I won't keep you any longer. I will see y'all out there. Y'all be great. Have a great weekend, or whenever you are watching this, maybe a weekday. And that's all I got. Yeah.